You're about to start work on a new web design project, but you're not sure about the structure you've put down for the homepage. You're asking yourself, what content is more important than others? What does the user want to see? And how do I incorporate business objectives inside of this page so that I'm not only making a well-designed page, but also a well-converting one? Well, it took me almost 7 years before this was clear to me, and today I would love to share with you the framework that I use on how I structure an effective homepage. So here are the things we're going to go over in this video. First, we'll have a look at the different types of pages there are. Then we'll see what type the homepage is. After that, we'll get into the first part of the structure, which are the first 3 sections of the page, followed by what to do with the rest of the page. Lastly, we'll combine them and have a look at an example. So let's start out with the different types of pages there are. So to understand how we can structure a homepage in the most effective way, it's important to first have a look at what type of pages there are. A web page can have one of 2 different types for me. The first type is what I call conversion pages, and the second one are supporting pages. Let's first have a look at what conversion pages are. So usually these would almost always be a sales page where you explain the value of your offering or the product. These kind of pages are the heart of the website, meaning there should more often than not only be one of these pages on your site to have the highest possible conversion. They're structured and designed in a way to convert the user into a paying customer, hence the name conversion pages. So if we look at this in a more visual way, this would just be a sitemap with all the web pages, but I want you to start looking at it more like this, where you see all traffic from supporting pages is going towards the conversion page. Lastly, for this chapter, let's quickly cover what supporting pages are. For me, these supporting pages only have one main goal: get people towards the conversion page. Okay, now that we know what type of pages there are, let's get into the homepage a bit more. So now that we know there are 2 types of pages, what type do you think the homepage is? Yes, that's correct, it's a supporting page. Now let's get into why you clicked on this video, the structure of an effective homepage. I always divide the homepage structure into 2 separate parts: the first 3 sections and the rest of the page. Let's talk about the first 3 sections. The main thing we want to do in these 3 sections is funnel the users towards the conversion page of the site. We do this by talking about the problem and the main emotional benefit or transformation. People don't buy products or services, they buy transformation that the product or service will bring them. Always keep that in mind. So let's get into what these 3 sections should be. First we have the hero section, then we have a problem statement section, and the third one is where we show the product or the services. These 3 sections would link off to the main conversion page with a clear call to action. So let's talk about the first one, the hero section. Here we need 3 things to create an effective one: the main value proposition or emotional benefit, what the company does and who they do it for, and of course a clear call to action towards the conversion page. When we scroll towards the second section, we get to the problem statement section. Logically, here we talk about the problem we're solving with the product or service. By mentioning the problem, we create a feeling of reassurance for the visitor, where they know they're in the right place and will be more likely to navigate over to the conversion page. This section becomes even more powerful when you mention the solution you have. Try to do this with benefits of the product or service. I do usually 2 or 3. If a visitor scrolls past the problem statement section, we try to get them towards the conversion page one last time in the 3rd section, where we show the product or the services provided. This can also be a transformation highlight where you show the results of past clients. For design agencies, this can be showing case studies, for example. So let's look at a quick overview of what we just talked about. So we start with the hero section, where we have the value proposition, what we do for who, together with a clear call to action. Then we have the problem and solution statement, where we mention the problem we're solving, we use benefits to highlight the solution, and once again we have a clear call to action. And lastly, we have the product, services or transformation highlight. These 3 sections are definitely the most important parts of the homepage, so focus on getting these down. To complete the homepage, we have the rest of the page. Here we will link towards other supporting pages of the website in order of importance. One thing I always do is putting the section that will link to the About page as the last one, since that has the least amount of value for the visitor. Closing of the page, we of course have the footer. So to visualize this, let's have a look at how I applied this on the Kusto website. The first section below the product is where we talk about how it works. This links then off to the How It Works page. Beneath that, we have a section that talks about the app and is then of course links off towards the app page. And before the footer, we have a section that links off to the About page. The main reason we do this on the homepage is to funnel users towards these other supporting pages, which in their turn will funnel them over towards the main conversion page. Linking between the pages is also good for SEO in the long term, And linking off to these supporting pages will ultimately increase the amount of time people spend on the website. Now that we went over the two parts that make up the full structure of the homepage, let's do a conclusion and then look at how I applied this to the Kusto website. So in our conclusion, we can see what we would try to do in the first three sections is funnel the users over towards a conversion page. We do this by mainly talking about the problem and the solution, and the rest of the page we link towards the supporting pages. So now let's get into our example where you can see how I applied it on the Kusto website. So I have the Kusto homepage loaded up here, and let's have a look at how I applied the structure that we just talked about and how I applied it here on this page. So we start off with the hero section here, where we have a clear value proposition with a clear call to action. When we scroll down to the second section, we see this is a section where we talk about the problem. As you can see, spending time looking for your parcel around the neighborhood is a thing of the past, so we're clearly stating the problem here. Then we get into two benefits of the product, where we mention the solution. Then we have the third section where we show the product. So like I mentioned before, this is our last chance of having the visitor convert over to the conversion page. And then we get into the rest of the page, where this is the first section that talks about how it works, which links off to the how it works page. Then we get into a section that talks about the app, and then after that we get into a section that talks about the about page. So here we link off to the about page, and then we have the footer. So that's it for this video. If something wouldn't be clear or you would have any questions about this, feel free to leave a comment. And if you want to see more of this content around digital strategy and design, feel free to subscribe. I post a lot of my design stuff over on Instagram, and I have a monthly newsletter where I share more tips like this. Everything is linked below. So with that being said, thanks for watching. Peace.